What's up, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint. Is my absolute Swamp Thing by Alan Moore damaged? Stay tuned to find out. Alright guys, there's been a lot of issues with this book. It looks like it's a great looking book, but there's been a lot of binding issues and warping issues on this Absolute Edition. So let's go ahead and open it for the first time and see how I made out. First of all, as most of you know by now, the cover has like a felt, like a suede kind of texture to the green part, which feels really good. Does it have any warping? Doesn't really look like it. Now the ultimate test, we got to stretch that spine, and we got to see if we got a binding issue with this Absolute. So most books nowadays are sewn binding. You could even see the sewing when you open up the books. But the pages themselves are glued onto a ribbon. Now what's been happening is that the glue that they've used for these books, I guess, has not been, I don't know, the strongest. And those pages have been lifting up off the ribbon. They're still sewn and you won't have any problems. It just kind of is an eyesore. And, I mean, maybe there will be problems over time. But looking at my copy, it does not appear that that's the case, as you can see. Let's go ahead and do some close-ups on it, and then we'll look at the artwork and talk a little bit about Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Alright guys, so let's take a good look at the Absolute Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. This is Volume 1, written by Alan Moore, but with art by Stephen R. Bassetti, John Totleben, Rick Veitch, Sean McManus, and Dan Day. This came out under DC's Vertigo imprint, which has now been defunct. Here's the back. And the top and the bottom are black. This did have a $100 cover price. We got it discounted through InStockTrades.com. Now here is actually one of the better looking Absolute editions that we've had since Preacher and Sandman. This has a certain kind of rough texture. This has like a suede texture to it. You see the art there. This is Swamp Thing's eyes, nose, mouth. This is his face. It says Swamp Thing. You have the spine here. And it really feels like you're holding something that's like from a swamp. It's got a swampy feel to it. Really nice. So some had warping issues with the hardcover. As you can see, mine seems to be pretty solid. It doesn't seem to have those warping issues. Let's open it up to the ribbon and get it out of the way. And we'll look better at the eye here. So as you can see, it has a good eye to it, which means it has very little gutter loss, meaning if you have this book all the way open, you don't really lose what's happening on these edges of the pages there. And again, looking at mine, you can see that those sewn pages are not coming up off of the ribbon. So that's a good sign. So let's take a look at the book. Personally, I have not read Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing yet. I was always tempted to buy the hardcovers, but I was always holding out for the day they would do an Absolute, and sure enough, they did. It collects the saga of the Swamp Thing, issues 20 through 34, plus Annual 2. This is from the 80s. Now, the other issue with this book is that they did do some recoloring here. So these pages are updated with 2019 coloring as opposed to the 80s coloring that it had originally. Personally, I would have rather had the original coloring. I'm more of a purist. I would have liked how it was in its original shape. I could appreciate that DC took the time to revisit the artwork in this book and give it updated coloring, but they kind of changed some paneling with that as well. I'll see if I can find the panel. I know my man Alex at the Deluxe Edition showed it on his video, which he did a great video, an overview of this book, and he actually knows what he's talking about. But basically, the original coloring. Let me try to find an example. Very trippy artwork, though. Well, let's just say in the original artwork was like this, right? And you had the paneling like that. They filled in the background that wasn't there before, and I just really wasn't a fan of that. I just felt like that started to take away from the original artwork. But I definitely am interested in reading this book. I probably am going to put this ahead of my read list and try to knock out a review on it to give you guys my thoughts on this run. A lot of times you got to remember that a lot of this stuff was pivotal and groundbreaking in the 80s. Look at this. So, you know, might not blow us away now, but at the time it was really big for Swamp Thing and big for comics. Got Deadman, Spectre. But as you can see, just flipping through this, it still has great artwork. Even with the recoloring in this oversized format, it looks great. Got a photo gallery. Alright guys, so that's the video. Just a quick little video to highlight this book and to see if mine had any damages. I know there's a lot of copies out there that have been having issues. Luckily, I seem to have a good copy. Let me know what you think about the absolute Swamp Thing in the comments below. Hit that like button before you leave, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Stay minty fresh. Peace. Oh yeah, and if you want to purchase this hoodie, they're available right below this video through our Teespring account that's attached to the channel. I just got this one in today. You can get a variety of colors. I think you'll just see a green hoodie below, but if you click on it, you can get it in green, red, black, white, whatever. So check that out, and peace.